Now, here's your hosts, the League Dad, Kevin, Mitchell, and Alistair.
What's up, gamers, and welcome to another episode of the All-In Podcast presented by Excellency Esports. I'm the League Dad, and tonight I'm joined by Kevin and Mitchell. Alistair, unfortunately, he's still in the process of moving. As you guys know, if you've been following the past couple weeks, he's transitioning down here to America in South Carolina, where he will be attending college and playing League of Legends there. So we're really excited for him, but unfortunately he wasn't able to get everything situated right away. So we miss him and wish him well, and hopefully he'll be back next week. But we do have these other two handsome men, Kevin and Mitchell. Mitchell, let me start with you, my friend, because I don't want Kevin to talk right now because I know he's going to bring up TL and my heart is still hurting a little bit. So let me start with Mitchell so that I can ease my way into this episode. Mitchell, how are you doing, my friend? How's your weekend? How's life, man?
Life is pretty awesome. I just moved to San Jose and I met some cool people. Been going out, doing stuff. Kind of drinking a lot, which is not the healthiest thing, but it's been fun. Doing a little dancing, playing some games and stuff.
Nice.
So San Jose life is cool. Yeah, and TSM sucks. All right, yeah, on to you, Kevin.
Oh my God, here we go. I thought I was going to at least avoid it for the first round, and here we go. Yeah.
You're not safe.
Yikes. I'm scared.
So on my end, it's been okay. I was a little sick for the whole week, but it was never super bad. It was just a constant flow, so kind of sucked in that sense. But getting into the flow for my job, esports has been good. I've been watching Valorant and also watching League. So I am a big fan of them. I think this is the second time we've done it for a summer split, but I'm still a big fan of combining the gauntlet into the main area, main season. I think that the 4 games in a row, some of them weren't the best, but it was just nice. Like on Thursday, you wake up, you're like halfway through the workday. Hey, there's something to watch after work or during work, depending on how busy it is. So I'm a big fan. I'm not gonna get super far into it, but let's just say that TSM bombed out of both tournaments that they were in. Although they're still in, they're technically still in the lower bracket. Yeah, and they still have a good chance. It's just good God, their Valorant team is garbage.
Oh gosh, don't even bring me into another. Sad. Don't bring me into another. You can't drag me into another TSM mess in a different esport. But I will take the League of Legends heat. Look, they didn't play amazing, but I think going back to what you're saying, the format, I love it. I think just more games, more playoff games, even if they are not as hype series. Like we had a couple of kind of one-sided series this past weekend. I'll still take it because it does count for something, and if anything, I know people on Reddit were posting do people agree that this format's better than the other way? And I think for the most part, people still like this way. I do. It seems like you'd like, Kevin. What about you, Mitchell? You on board with this format?
Oh, definitely. I mean, even if you go back to the old format of single elim, you're still going to have those boring 3-0 stomps. Sure. But now this guarantees that we get more than one matchup of the really good ones, right?
Yeah.
Because in the past, you get some bad ones and some good ones. Now you get some bad ones and more of the good ones. Right. So I'll take it. Yeah. Yeah,
it's good because I am happy because I'm hoping that there will once again be a TSM Team Liquid and TSM gets redemption type of matchup, and again, that's why I like this format because they still have a chance, thank goodness.
Dude.
But let's go into that series because obviously I think that was the one to watch. Team Liquid TSM. You guys know Team Liquid won 3-1. Honestly, It didn't look good at all for TSM. I'll let you guys go first just because I obviously have my things. Actually, Kevin, I'll let you have your moment, man. Team Liquid TSM, give us your thoughts.
Honestly, so I think you'll be glad that you let me go first because I actually think that TSM played it a lot better than people are probably giving them credit for throughout the series. I don't think Liquid drafted that well. I think that they're just better by a lot. I think game 2, for example, where they drafted Jace, Trundle, Syndra, Jhin, and Bard, that was just a bad draft. I did not see that winning, and I think they won by sheer force of will, like how good their players were.
Yeah.
Take it 2 inhibs for 1 inhib. I think a lot of people were like, wow, what a terrible trade for TSM, which it kind of looked like. But in reality, they were funneling 2 level leads onto PoE's Azir and a bunch of gold. It shrunk the goalie from 5 to 4 or 3-ish K. So I thought TSM played a lot of like scenarios where they were under pressure pretty well. There were just some like key moments that like stood out. I'm sure some people think of like Lost or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really bad. It's just unexcusable or inexcusably bad. But I think as a whole, TSM like the only reason they look this bad is because Liquid looked better. It's not like as players. They just put so much pressure that it made mistakes happen. I think that TSM is unfortunately still one of the favorites in the lower bracket. Them or EG depending on them or EG depending on the day, and I think they're going to both meet up in the finals of the lower bracket. So I thought TSM did well. I actually think that a lot of their stuff was better as a whole, except for the Jarvan draft. That last game, I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Yeah,
they lost it all. They just brains went out of their minds. I will say, Jensen, 3 out of 4 games, Jensen played out of his mind. He was ridiculously good, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a moment, there was so many moments, but there was like moments where like his sim just like walks up slowly and then he just stuns him and he just gets a massive stun. I was like, dude, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
The Ori game was super in for sure, but I think
Yeah.
Jensen probably had the best mid laner showing of his own career in a long time, just individually. And I just think that Santorian was so obviously better than Armeo now. Like it's maybe we don't know what his headaches are bad or his migraines are bad or good. But like this man was always in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would just see the 3-man setup and he would just be there, or he would be there in like 3 seconds. It was amazing. And Core JJ did not do that well in the regular season. Don't think he deserved first team, but in the playoffs, he's looking like a Smurf. It looks like he just came off the boat from Korea and it was like his first play here where he was smurfing on everyone. Dude, this guy his bard was insane. His everything was insane. I don't know, man. I think everyone played well. I think Alfari played the worst overall as a individual player of everyone on the team because I think Tactical was like the unsung like rock. He just sat there. He's like, all right, I don't have to support any of these laning phases. Good luck, guys. And he was almost always good. Yeah. So big fan of the team right now. It's actually a good sign if Alfari doesn't need to hard carry because like there were some plays like that Jace second death game 2 where he just jumped in after dying the first time. But yeah, that's my rundown. I think that TSM's actually looking really good. I just think that Liquid just looked insanely on form that day. And I don't know if they can repeat that in the finals, but I hope so.
All right. What about you, Mitchell? I know he put a lot of Team Liquid or even TSM praise there. Are you along the same lines, or what are your thoughts?
I mean, I will say for the drafts, Team Liquid focused very heavily on laning phase with their drafts. Clearly, Syndra is back in full force.
Oh yeah.
All she got was a small little mana buff. There were people and analysts everywhere across the world saying that wasn't going to change anything. Syndra just doesn't do enough damage. Yeah, Syndra does enough damage, guys. She does a lot of damage. And with regards to TSM, I think their macro was a lot better. And their macro is going to be something that they'll have an advantage over both 100 Thieves and EG, in my opinion, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
But their individual mechanics and play
there were some mess
so
ups.
Terrible.
There were some mess ups.
Dude, PoE flashing into the wall and ulting.
Oh my god!
I could not stop laughing when I watched it, and then they replayed it, and then I watched Doublelift watch it, and I was like, I can't believe it just did that.
I was watching the cast, and I didn't hear them say it when it happened, so I was like, did they not see what just happened? But yeah, it was funny. Yeah,
it was so funny. It was like, and then like, I don't know, Sword Art. I laughed so hard when in game 3 he took the Bard away, and I was like, oh my god, he just took the Bard away. Like, there's no way that's. And then they won, right? And he took the Bard again, and he looked like absolute garbage. And I was like, I have no idea, man.
You wanted to one-up him.
Yeah, he got baited into thinking Bard was a good pick because I honestly don't think like the Bard was really that good. It was just because Core JJ and his team played around. We're literally not going to be a good team fighting comp. We're not going to scale. We're not really going to do much if we don't get crazy ahead. So we're just going to get really, really crazy ahead. We're going to have a Jace. We're going to have a Wukong with 3 CS to like when everybody else has 30.
Yeah.
They honestly, I think TSM could have fixed, well, game 2 in particular, because the macro was so weird in game 2, right? If It's had to do something. It's all snowballed from level 1. So when you look at the lane states from all the way from level 1, Syndra was always getting the push prio onto Azir and had the first move. And it's literally a 5 to 10 second window, right? If it's a different champion, or if Azir is in lane first, or like if TSM had forced an invade somehow and didn't allow Bard to do like the little shrine things
the
to
shrines.
allow Syndra to just like AFK push and stuff, like all these little things added up so that Jensen could keep pushing the wave, go up, send 3, 4 people top, and deny the crash for Huni over and over and over again. It happened 3 times, and like that was just the game right there.
Yeah.
They didn't let go of that lead of just shoving Wukong off the wave. Honestly, TSM had great macro calls to like trade towers across the map over and over again. But like then you just get to the mechanics. It's like they just get hit by Jin Ws and like Bard Qs and stuff. Like they can't dodge. Lost is just not flashing and just getting dying. I don't know. I still think Team Liquid played really, really well.
They
and
did,
of course are the best team in NA right now.
Yeah.
It's just like their level of competition that they're facing doesn't give me a lot of hope that like this Team Liquid is something different or better than we've seen in the past, and that they're just gonna get out of groups, right? They're just gonna do well internationally. I'm not sold on that yet because like TSM made so many mistakes, right? And that's my overall thought process on it.
I agree with you. You know, that's how I felt. I felt the same way. Honestly, I felt macro wise TSM played okay. And honestly, I do think I agree with, I think it was you that Kevin that said that it's probably what's going to carry them against, you know, the lower brackets. Because I think their macro is good. What you'll notice a lot of times is that they're usually behind on kills. There's not a lot of times where they're like kind of ahead and just snowballing. Honestly, when I look, they may be down, but they're always close in gold or even still ahead. So that's one thing that has definitely stood out for me with TSM. And again, I just saw a lot of misplays and mechanics, but also that game 5 draft. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Game
can
4?
somebody or was it no the game 4, I'm sorry, yeah, the one where they I know, the one I wish it got to game 5. Game 4, yes. What was that comp about? Because somebody needs to explain it to me because I couldn't figure it out. Is there something I'm missing? Go ahead, Mitchell.
I know what it is. So they early picked Lee Sin, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure Team Liquid picked Camille.
Yeah.
And I guess they wanted to dodge the like Camille J4 combo, right? Where you just basically perma-lock somebody down. I don't know. Like 100% TSM went full early game comp. They had Lee Sin, LeBlanc, J4, even Bard, right? And they just like psyched themselves out and being like, we're going to take away this J4 so you don't have the Camille combo. And they just take Galio anyways. They have Camille Galio combo. But J4 is a really bad champion right now. He does not clear very much.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a lot of damage. If you think about like just how much more broken is Xin Zhao to J4? It's like Xin Zhao's like 2 champions in that case. Like, did you see like that 2v3 in mid lane?
Oh yeah.
Where J4 he kills like the Galio, Cordia J, right, with 3 people there, and then they jump onto Syndra, right? And then Xin Zhao just cleans everybody up by himself because he's like, it's just a champ diff. It's such a champ diff. So yeah, TSM's draft was really crap. They should have picked Trundle. Trundle was very clearly shown by Santorin as the counter pick to Xin Zhao jungle, and it worked out pretty well because I guess you just win the 1v1s really, really hard. Even Xin Zhao beats almost every champ in the 1v1, I guess, except against Trundle, right? Because you just steal his AD, you're too much damage. So yeah, should have picked Trundle instead of J4.
Yeah, I was not liking it at all. You got any thoughts on it, Kevin?
Yeah, my quick read on it is like I think it was similar. It was either to deny the Jarvan pick, or which I don't think Liquid had any propensity to pick, but for some reason I think that was what they were thinking, or it was to like do that and to do some flexing because they like pick Lee Sin. They're like, oh yeah, you know what are we gonna do? Lee Sin's gonna be in the jungle because that's generally what he's occupied ever since there's like he's been touched a bit throughout the patches. But they put him top lane and then they threw in the Jarvan, I guess, as a wrench in their plans. It was a very early game focused game. To be fair, they did win game 3 with an early game focus. It was like Renekton, Lee Sin, Syndra, Ezreal, Bard. Like it was still pretty dang early game, although not as much as a Jarvan LeBlanc comp would be. So I get what they were trying to do. I just don't. It was clear that they didn't really have a lot of comfort with it either. Like Liquid just played Callista, they played Syndra, and then they played Camille, and it just looked doomed. Like from very early on, it looked like TSM just lost steam, which is strange because they just won the game before, in a game where Liquid would have outscaled them. So I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, and you said it before, but we talked about Core JJ. One thing I also wanted to point out is that in all 4 games he played a different champion, and he looked like a master at each of them, and so that's pretty like awesome to see. Now Santorin won MVP for the series. Do you guys agree with that? Because Santorin did play well, but I mean, I don't know. There seemed to be a good amount of candidates there. Because talking about Jensen playing well, what's your thoughts on that, Mitchell?
I think Jensen played amazingly well. Kevin already said he played terribly game 3 on the Orianna.
Yeah.
But because it felt like he was trying to play Orianna like he was Syndra or LeBlanc.
Yeah.
And just like roam a ton and always be involved. And Orianna doesn't really like to do that much. But I mean, he played really freaking well. So I think he definitely deserves like some conversation in there. I think Core JJ obviously deserves a lot of conversation in there too. But I don't know, the jungle diff, like, when you think about it, like, from a standstill in a vacuum performance, maybe you say Jensen, maybe you say Core JJ, but when you think about the overall, like, context of it and how Spica is, like, incoming MVP candidate, considered best jungler in the league right now, #1 all-pro, Santorin kind of jungle diffed him, like, almost every single game. I think I agree with Santorin. He played so crazy well. Like he gets an extra context boost because he's specifically against Spica. So
yeah,
that's true. I mean, I think the biggest thing is like, I don't think the gap between the two where it was as big as some of the gaps could have been. Like I think Tactical is more consistent on loss. I think that Jensen played a much better series in PoE, but more importantly, you were basically neutering like the opponent's like best player, and you're like, you know, you haven't played much of the regular season, like, and there's also the context of look how big of a difference Liquid looks like when Santorin's in. Like, Alfari came back for Jenkins. Honestly, their win rate didn't change at all. Like, they had a different look, but it just looked about the same. They just had a stronger top lane laning phase, and then they might have a worse late game. I don't know. Santorin comes in, and after like 1 week of regular season practice and playoffs, they look like they look like they've been sandbagging. Like, you know, we always meme about sandbagging. They actually look like they've been sandbagging. I feel bad for TSM. This was not a 5th seed team. Like anyone who just like watches playoffs only and just like looks at recaps, this is not the Liquid that was playing. Like literally and figuratively, this was not the Liquid that we saw all split. So I'm super happy. I've been holding it in, but I'm super happy.
No, that's good. I mean, hey man, you deserve the moment to shine. Look, does that mean I think I read some stuff? He qualifies, or they qualify for Worlds, right?
Yep, Team Liquid is going to Worlds.
I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. They could in finals if they want. I think they want to win, but
I think they want to win. They like Santorin wants his first title. I mean, Tactical, I'm sure wants a title. He's going to be like basically.
I mean, Alfari too. Alfari coming in here.
Alfari wants a title. Yeah.
Did they not win with TSM Santorin? Sorry, it just
no, they didn't. They lost to CLG. Remember?
Okay.
That was that year.
That was that year. Yeah.
That time.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, I think this is gonna be the team that wins the whole thing, right? Like, there's some conversation in the Discord. DJ was like, still got to go through 100 Thieves. I watched that 100 Thieves EG matchup. I honestly think Team Liquid is just better than both of those teams by far. I think that 100 Thieves has an early game that can definitely match with Team Liquid, but once you get to the mid and late game, 100 Thieves' brains explode. Their macro is so much worse than TSM and Team Liquid's. Let's be real here. Like, honestly, it should have been a 3-1 for 100 Thieves or even a 3-0 if they just had slightly better macro and slightly less intiness from, like, just fighting without your 10-0 Viego, right? Like, that was so... Like, you guys, their early game is so insane. Okay, we're already talking about 100 Thieves now. 100 Thieves' early game is so insane, but oh my god, were they fighting at the dumbest times, like just going in when your Viego, who's like 5-0, super fed, super good, he's just not there, right? Like, they just took misnumbered fights. They were jumping into the random Rise ultis. Like, even Abadage had some questionable moments where it's like, I don't know if, like, if it's an environment thing or if it's like a him thing, because he's also a very new player.
Yeah.
But like obviously his mechanics are there. But when I think of Jensen, right, his mechanics are there, but also he has really excellent decision making. Where besides that Oriana game, he really wasn't in bad places or making big mistakes or like doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. Um, so 100 Thieves, congrats on going to Worlds, but I'm a little worried about their chances of making it to a championship, basically.
Yeah, I wanna talk about that Viego, but also what's interesting too is that not only did 100 Thieves get Viego, 4 out of those 5 games, but they also got Rise for Avidage
Yeah.
4 out of those 5 games. So let's talk about that a little bit, that draft combo, because we did talk about Viego and how his presence on the Rift is. And I'll start with you, Kevin, lob it up to you, and then you could talk about other 100 Thieves thoughts that you have and that matchup between them and EG. So go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
I think that combo. It depends on that series we watched. I felt like they just got away with a lot. Like, I don't know if anyone watched, but the drafts were painfully similar. I think 3 games in a row was literally GP, Viego, Rise. And the top side. And I was like, like I thought EG played some really good games, and I thought the series was very close, but like it felt like they just thought they had a read on the draft and they wanted to counter it, and they coin flipped a lot of the times on it, whether or not they countered it or not. So in that sense, it was hard to get a gauge on how strong they are. Like, you give some of the most ridiculous snowballing characters in the game, and if you make a mistake and you can't clear it out, then like of course that combo looks good, right? I think that what Liquid has going for them, which could be a detriment, is that they show so many looks that like it's pretty terrifying. Like, how do you draft for that? You just see like Shen support. You see like
that's true. All
this random. So Galio support came back. So I think that for 100T, I don't think Avidage showed up this playoffs so far. I think Closer has been fine, but like he played Viego. I honestly can't rate that as good or bad. Like, Inspired looked good on Viego too. I don't know if he's good or bad, but it's a very unimpressive character for me, honestly. I honestly think it's pretty much like anyone could play that character well, given the setup. Now, if you play it well without setup, sure, that's great. But still, not a big fan. I think that if anything, they got too many reps in on a comp that like I don't think they're getting at all. So it feels like they're not even getting that game experience, in-game stage experience that they would need to really execute more strats in a best of 5. That's where it matters, right? So like, you got 4 times Viego and Rise.
When is that going to happen?
Right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, they did ban. To be fair, they banned like Varus, and they banned Shinzao, and they banned Kalista every game. First 3 bans. So like, maybe those are just too strong early game, and that's what they were trying to mitigate. But the late game looked pretty good. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think the drafts. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed in EG and their lack of priority on Rise, just because it's like just notoriously Jizuke's best champion. That was something that was questioning to me, right? Like 100 Thieves took blue side a lot. Or did they take blue side a lot?
Let me look.
Let's see. They did take blue side a decent amount of times. Like 4 games in a row they took blue side. And EG, if they wanted to, they could have definitely taken either Rise or Viego away, and it took them until like, game 5 to take the Viego away. And I just was so confused why don't you just play Rise, man?
Right,
Like it's your best champion. It's what you've been known for over a year now, and he's actually strong right now. I do think, his first 2 Syndra games, honestly, Jizuke played really, really well. He looked like the best player on his team, winning or losing. But like his LeBlanc, his Lucian were so terrible. I was like, get him on the Rise, man. So EG kind of disappointed me in terms of their drafting their mid laner, who's like, honestly, like should be their best player. It ended up being Danny, who's their best player. But I was pretty disappointed with just contracts as well. I feel like they should have brought in Svenskeren earlier.
I felt the same thing.
getting thrown into a game 5 like that, you can't really blame Svenskeren, especially when he has the best score on his team too in that terrible loss they had. And Svenskeren is like, he's a great veteran player. He might not be at his peak. He might not be as flashy or mechanically aggressive or anything like that to contracts right now. But I mean, that's a veteran like voice that you need earlier on, especially when like I play a ton of Lee Sin, right? So when I watch a Lee Sin player, I'm thinking of all the decision trees that this player is trying to make and what they're trying to think of doing. And you don't, if you're not going to land your Qs and you're not on fire with your Qs, you don't have that homing missile aim down, you don't throw your Q. You wait for someone else to land a stun, or you wait for someone to get trapped up against a movement, right? You hold your Q, you make them juke. If they don't juke, you land an easy Q, or you let someone stun for you, or you use it to zone. The dude was just whiffing Qs, and like it was actually causing them to lose fights and games. If I think of specifically Game 1 and Game 3, they lost both those games with Lee Sin jungle. There were many times where it's because Constructs choked his Q. Simple as that, right? He would, Lee Sin's such a broken champion on this patch that if he lands his Qs or doesn't land his Qs, like that's literally the difference between winning and losing some of these games, which is, I know it's crazy, but it was disappointing. I wanted Svenskeren in earlier for EG. What was I say on EG? I think 100 Thieves, I already talked about him. Really good early game, terrible macro.
Okay.
And yeah, I think the draft is also. I want to bring up a point now, bring it to you guys.
Okay.
Where's Diana? I think this
I
is
was gonna say
before her big. I don't think she's been nerfed yet on this patch. She is just she was considered the most broken champion pre-playoffs as a jungler. Over Viego. I mean, Xin Zhao was banned, but Xin Zhao banned every game. Viego was not taken as much. It was Diana was taken the most.
Yeah.
She got picked once in both series we've talked about right now. What's up with that?
Yeah, I have no clue as to why we didn't see more of her. I don't know if there's just more, if the read is just more power shifted to the champions that we did see. But I don't know. Because you're right, in the previous games, like there was just so much that Diana could do, coupled in with like a Zanya's or something. It was very hard. She had such good engage, such good CC, and then could delay damage for so long with her shield, with the Zanya's, and by that time, the rest of your team is just, dumpstering on them. I honestly don't know why we didn't see her. Maybe it doesn't fit when you see a Viego. I don't know. But Kevin, you're the higher rated player than me. Let me know your thoughts.
I mean, so my read on it was, for context, we do see it in other regions, so it's not like it's weaker now for some random reason.
It hasn't been nerfed yet. It nerfs next patch.
Yeah, so I don't think they're like going so big brain that like, we're like not trying to make habits before worlds. No, there's no way NAs, at least most NAs,
they're not that. Yeah, they're not that
big brain, or they don't have the freedom to do stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I don't think.
I think it's more of a stylistic choice. I think that a lot of these games, you got the feeling that they were ready for the long haul. They were ready for the sieges, for extended fights, or just like skirmishing.
Yeah.
And I do think skirmishing Diana's good at. I don't think for an extended fight Diana's good at. She's good at like stalling for 4 or 5 seconds of just like she controls that space. But then afterwards she kind of just, for me at least in my experience, she just kind of flops there. Yeah. If you're not far enough ahead. A lot of these picks were like Azir Ziggs, like some disgusting degen stall out games, or play it slow, try to go to late game. Rise GP. Like, we saw drafts with Rise GP Viego. Are you serious?
That's true.
Like, what region is this? So I think that the read going in was just like a lot of teams were just like not defaulting, but like I think their idea of the best meta was to play for generally later results, or like have a lot of insurance plans. And to me, Diana's not as much of an insurance plan. She's more of a like, we're confident we're gonna smash you. Like, I think Diana was banned twice in the C9 GG game, so they didn't want Iconic to get it. So like, it obviously still had some threat level, or else why would you not let the worst? Okay, Dignitas is the worst. The second worst team on paper in playoffs get it, right? So I think it still had its place. But like, Santorin's not really a Diana player. I don't think a lot of the junglers who just happened to be there were feeling
Closer and Contracts both have had amazing showings on Diana, and like prior to super early in the regular season, and it only got played once in that whole series.
And I think it's because of the read. Like, I think Viego just like went off the tier list for at least that series. Like, Viego was in 4 games out of 5.
Yeah,
and Viego did just actually. Yeah, it was in all 5 games, and Viego on 11.15 actually got some nerfs.
Yeah.
His base damage on his Q got adjusted, so it does the same amount to monsters, but 2 champions, you do 10 base damage less, 2 champions. So
Wow.
Viego is actually nerfed on this patch compared to Diana, and so it's just a weird meta read. Yeah,
It's
definitely.
interesting.
I do
Now,
I do think it's sometimes like sometimes you read the nerfs like so he was nerfed before, which is
mhm.
part of the reason why he was dropping off. And then people are like, oh, that's bad, that's a nerf. I'm not gonna play this character. And then I think even with the 11-15 nerfs, which on a reset character nerfs like to your damage and your ability to kill champions is a big deal.
Yeah.
I think they realize like regardless of these two or three nerfs that like put us off this character is just busted. Like
Yeah.
it's you just need to give him setup. So like he used to be able to do it all himself. Now you just need to give like some more options so that you can get in there. Like, GP Rise, like somebody is gonna get chunked out
That's
just
true.
incidentally. And so like it was a perfect character for that kind of comp, even though they only went 2-2 with it, to be fair. But like you could see it like threatening to just win the game so many times. So
Yeah.
I think people just realized how good it was, at least here in NA. I will say, like with all the flame I've done in NA, I think NA has actually raised their level of like at least in the TSM TL series, sometimes in 100 Thieves EG, I think in the TSM TL series, there was so much punches and counter punches and just like great map reads that I was like, I watched back a couple seasons back to when Jensen got bodied by Faker at Worlds. Yeah, we had no idea how to do like roams and counter roams and wave like
I agree.
matching and stuff like that.
Definitely
So
noticing
I think
that
we're
more.
stronger than we give credit just because Liquid looks stupidly strong, but I think we have a chance. Again, I say this every year.
Yeah,
It's never gonna change.
same story, different year.
Chance.
Yeah, same story, different year. Well, I don't want to leave this conversation of EG and 100 Thieves or EG specifically without talking about Danny. We have to because honestly, this would have I think been a 3-1 series if Danny had not pulled out some amazing heroics on his Tristana. So, give me your thoughts on just Danny in general. Is he the best rookie ever in NA? I don't know.
Is he the best rookie ever? Honestly, playoffs isn't over yet, so till to be seen. When we think about, remember last year when Tactical in Game 4, he did a very similar thing. It was on, I'm forgetting which, it was on Callista.
Yeah.
Yes, he had that insane 1v4, 1v5 play against FlyQuest, where pretty much very similar reactions to this, except I would argue that this one was a 1v5 and like the micro decision making from this play was like just as good if not even better than that tactical play.
Yeah.
And Tactical obviously did not go on to win the championship, but he did go on to go to Worlds and actually play really, really well at Worlds. So if EG make it farther into playoffs or if they make it into Worlds, that's where I'm going to keep measuring him. If it cuts off there, I feel like you do have to give Tactical the fact that regardless if your team is better or not, he did make it farther and did have a chance to show insane stuff at Worlds too. So if Danny gets to go to Worlds and show insane stuff, then yeah, I'm going to be like, Danny was the better rookie. He was the best rookie we've ever seen, honestly. Because that play from on his Tristana to literally get an unofficial pentakill and save the game was the micro movements and like just decision making in those insanely quick timings to kill the barrel, right? He's not autoing a champion deciding to kill a barrel or to kill a minion to lifesteal, and it just ended up being the right move, right? It's just how do you calculate that? Well, it's just you got to be good, I guess. And
part of that's got to be a little bit of luck. I mean,
yeah, I mean every play. Like
but I mean, I say luck, but there's an instinct involved. Like he's probably already got the feel, and he's just kind of taking a good calculated guess at that exact moment. Not saying it's easy. So yeah, that's definitely something to note about.
I wonder if it's like is he A clicking and just accidentally hitting? Because like you don't know, right? So especially when he's hitting barrels, he hits a barrel twice instead of autoing FBI. And I have no idea if that's A clicking on accident, if that's on purpose, or if that's just randomly clicking, right?
Yeah.
Because like if you sometimes when you go to do an auto click, like if you try to go to auto the barrel, GP with his Q has priority because his Q is faster. But if you auto it twice with like your Q attack speed, you can basically mess up the timing for the GP and get the barrel.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is he thinking about that, right? Because like,
yeah.
obviously I can think about that when I'm not in the middle of the game.
Yeah, not in the middle of the game, right?
But like, is he like, I have more attack speed than GP, so if I auto it twice, I'll mess up the timing for someday, so he can't Q his barrel. Because if I only go for the last hit, I'll lose it.
Yes.
Because GP, his Q is faster.
Yep.
I mean, he could have killed Tactical before, or he could have killed FBI before killing the barrel. But what if you got hit by a barrel?
That's right.
So
he would have been, yeah.
I was nuts. I was like, oh my god, he made the right choice, I guess.
Quick decision, quick moment.
So one thing about Pro AD carries, a lot of Pro AD carries do a little technique that they rebind their left click to be A click, so they can be a lot more precise because you can just spam the left click and automatically readjust your A click so you don't do missed inputs. So I personally give them the credit that I don't think there was just too many correct decisions in that series of events that I can't chalk it all up or a lot of it up to luck. I think it was at least majority individual skill and decision making. And I will say, like, having watched League of Legends since like before LCS was a thing, or NALCS or whatever we used to call it, like, I don't think I've ever seen an NA player individually make that many correct decisions in like intense micro and macro decisions in a single play. Like, I don't like, there are pentakills we've seen, like, you know, Double F or Wild Turtle get like a pentakill in the finals. Like, oh yeah, that's really cool, like really great. But like, usually it's still set up to some extent. Like your friend, your teammates like lowered them or whatever. In this one, like some people were low, but like he's literally individually saved the game. Like this was individually a better play than Tactical's play, because Tactical had, I think if he had died there, the game wouldn't end. Like it would have just been like he got a big advantage. Right?
I think they still lost that game, didn't they?
No, they won that game. They
won
game 4.
They won it right after. Like,
that's right.
Well, not right after. He got he stopped the soul, which would have ended the game.
Yeah.
He did a lot of things correctly there. I will say
lose the
that
series,
I don't.
though.
Yeah. He did lose the series. First of all, he's 17, so like if it, like, that's ridiculous. If contracts didn't exist, where it was like the young prodigy who like went on to do very little comparatively, now he's on EG, but for a long time he did nothing after. Like I would say, like, dude, imagine where this guy can go. But NA has a habit of taking like some really great talents and like stifling them, I feel like. So hopefully he continues to grow. I'm looking forward to it. I think overall in his career it's just not long enough, and there's not enough achievements. Like, there's a reason we got to that situation in Game 4. Like there were just times where he was playing decent, not amazing, right? So I don't think he's there yet. Best NA talent, whatever, rookie for a long time, but he is very close. And like, the upgrade over.
I mean, it's just it's amazing to see that
EG went from whatever that was before to like a real threat. So I think that he has a bright future. I'm really glad that he got to show out there. Like, I don't even think the other team misplayed that much. I think that they played pretty reasonably well. It's just every button click, every like the buffer W and to the W on top of the guy who just like finishes on it. It was beautiful. So. Good stuff on him. I hope he makes Worlds. I really don't want. Sorry, I don't want TSM to make it over there. Like, there's just a more exciting story with EG.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
It might be worse.
It's
they might
possible,
be overall
though,
on average
still.
worse,
I don't know.
but their highs are so good.
I don't think so. Honestly, I think you put TSM to EG in a head-to-head, I'd probably vote for TSM just because their macro is a lot better. But when I think of who would do better internationally, I would take EG because they're going to be very explosive. They're going to get ahead really fast and end the game really fast, or they're going to lose really fast. TSM will probably look about the same in every game and get choked out slowly and lose to better players, right?
Yeah.
EG is just going to coin flip, and 50-50 is better than TSM's odd internationally.
It's unfortunately true.
It's unfortunate, but that's what it was last year too, right?
Yeah.
That's why Team Liquid and FlyQuest, they did better even though they lost to TSM directly. With Danny, I just gotta say, or with that play, right? I think like 8 stopwatches got popped in that fight.
I know.
Did you guys count?
Yeah,
I didn't count, but it was like ding, ding, ding. I was like, what is happening? I cannot imagine.
He's just ready to shoot them right out of the stopwatch. He even used his own.
Yeah, he did use his own. Oh, the crazy buffer. He got hooked. He W'd and buffered his stopwatch, like, and he canceled the Nautilus ulti that was gonna go through him. Like, I can't imagine. Like, okay, that play was amazing, yes, but then also having to like react and deal with all these random stopwatches. Like,
I know.
that wasn't in the game 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You can't all have stopwatches. The game is literally just more complicated and harder right now, and he pulled it off.
Sure, he grew up only playing the game in that state, basically, for at
Yeah,
least half
he
of his career, probably.
most of his life he grew up just playing just modern League of Legends, and I think that's an advantage over pros too.
Yeah.
I will say, just to continue bashing on EG, why'd you put Ziggs, great champion, awesome champion, very strong right now. Why'd you put him on it though, right? Like, put him on Tristana again. The only 2 games they won were him on Tristana.
Yeah.
Just put him on Tristana
I was
again,
thinking
dude.
the same thing. With that kind of carry potential, like I know Ziggs is strong, good for sieging, that sort of thing, but you need a carry, especially with the type of player Danny is and what we saw. You need to put him on like those types of champions that can just snowball out of control, like a Tristana or a Kalista or something with a reset where he could just pop off.
Or a Lucian, right? They're putting Jizuke on Lucian instead of their star player in that series, Danny, and they give all the basket to Jizuke, who's been having a terrible series, everything not on Syndra.
Well, they did say that Jizuke said that he's kind of got the, they told him that essentially he has the reins. They're not going to bench him. So he's had free reign to kind of be the man, play how he wants to play. And unfortunately, this is what happens sometimes. He's going to get the Lucian. He's going to get his picks, his LeBlanc or whatever. And even if there's a better play for that, and they're going to let him roll with that. And you got to take the good with the bad. He's been good, but this time he was bad. And that's what we get with Jizuke.
I would be so, if I was Danny and Jizuke is telling me, you're playing Ziggs this game, I would be so pissed after getting an unofficial Penta. I'd be like, no, give me Tristana. You play Ziggs, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
did you see what I just did? I just saved this team to bring it to
game 5. You go play Ziggs. You wave clear 24/7. I will get all the jungle attention. Come to my lane.
Right.
Let me carry this game, dude. Because honestly, he might have been the best player in that whole series. Just on the worst team.
Yeah.
Impact played a pretty bad game too. His Jace was honestly awful. I would have liked him to just play like a tank into GP. Yeah, you're going to lose the matchup. Yeah, you're going to let him scale. Well, you know what? You're a great tank player, and it's Someday. And you can't play Jace well enough to beat Someday right now.
Yeah.
So,
okay, well, let's move on then because we've praised Danny enough. We don't want, him to get big ego, want to keep him humble.
Gotta keep him
we know you're listening, Danny.
We know you're listening, Danny. We're just saying, keep up the good work, my friend. But hey, is there anything you guys want to say about the other winners? Because they were kind of stomps. I'm talking about C9 and Immortals. Is there anything you wanted to say? Just real quickly so we can move on to this coming up weekend's actions. But anything on those teams, C9, Immortals? I mean, C9, we expected them to win 3-0. I think I had them winning 3-0, but we all pretty much expected that. Immortals, I thought it would be a little closer, but I think Dignitas is just bad. So
I think Dignitas played worse than I expected by a lot, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot. I think they played worse in that series than the series they played against EG, where they actually won a game. So that was weird.
Yeah.
Immortals, I have a sneaking suspicion that everyone's going to predict against them, not just the podcast, but in general at all versus all. And like they have to play C9, right?
They're playing
C9 versus
TSM.
Immortals? Oh, they're playing TSM.
TSM.
Oh, okay, it goes like that. Oh, never mind. They don't have a chance. Never mind. If it was like both loser brackets play each other, like the winners of the loser bracket play each other, and they were playing against C9, I might favor Immortals because I do actually think they're a pretty good team. Like Xerxes really seems to have found his groove all of a sudden. Where C9, they 3-0'd Golden Guardians and it wasn't close, but like I really felt like some of those games should have been cleaner against Golden Guardians. Like considering how terribly Golden Guardians was playing, they were still able to get a lot of early game kills and get a lot of they were even a lot of times in the early game, and they would just be down like a dragon here or a tower there, and it would really be that 20-minute mark where Golden Guardians would just completely fall apart. I'm not confident in C9 being this team that's like they're supposed to make worlds, right? You got perks, right? I'm not confident at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. The Immortals series, the Immortals game, not close. Like way less close than I even expected. Right? I was like, they probably can get a game, but like it shouldn't be like they should still win. I thought the C9 game, despite being the 3-0, was very like some of those games were just not convincing. Like there was a lot of wow, why was that like so much harder than I expected it to be? Like it felt like a struggle bus to get to the finish line. despite like the game times being relatively short, like if you only looked at the scoreboards, yeah, great series, good job, C9. But there was a lot of they looked kind of rough. If C9 was against Immortals, I would think it would be a 3-2, and I don't know which way. Unfortunately, Immortals is probably going to we'll talk about that. But I just think that Immortals deserves a good amount of praise. It's clearly a team that's been either coached to there, or those people are very underrated on that team, or some mix of the two. Because in my mind, like there's just not that much, there's not that much to be excited about on the team on paper. Raze and Destiny are like the most coin flip bot lane like duo in the league in terms of like duos that matter. Not coin flipping to be just bad or less bad, but like they could be bad or like one of the like scariest bot lane duos, and you don't know what you're gonna get on the day. And then I think Revenge is getting a little bit better. Like I think in terms of consistency, I think he's always been like has good highs, but like his consistency was bad because he's newish. So I think he's doing it, and then Xerxes is turning on. Yeah, so like I'm excited for them. It's unfortunate they're playing against like the team that I am least confident against, with like a consistent but like lower tier, middle tier team versus a consistent but higher tier team. That's what I'm seeing here, which is not. There's just not enough X factor on Immortals still. I say that, but their bot lane could just pop off and destroy Lost and farm him for
Draven.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean,
you would Tsm will ban it.
The game. I mean, that's what they did to the. They banned Draven 2 out of 3 games, and Dignitas still lost.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know.
Let's go then. I mean, we were already talking about C9 and how they weren't playing as clean against Golden Guardians. How do you think they'll do then against EG? Because that's who they're playing on Thursday. We can go ahead and go right into that matchup. What are you guys thinking here? Because I don't know. Like I still like as bad as C9's playing, like it's still hard to to count them out because they do have good pieces on the paper. So I don't know. I don't know what to. I'm gonna let you go first, Mitchell, because I need to think a little bit. What do you got?
I have some thoughts that this is gonna be pretty EG favored.
Okay.
I obviously right, like it's C9, it's perks. They can always just randomly improve and start playing really well.
Yep.
It could just always happen. It's what's happened with TSM. Sometimes looks so freaking garbage and bad, and sometimes they just do it right. Literally last year. 2020 summer, TSM looked so garbage the entire year, and they won the whole split.
Yeah.
Double lift and looked like trash. Bjergsen was the only human being on his team. Speaker started popping off. Double lift started popping off, and they just made it, right? Perks has been looking trash for months, and he could just all of a sudden pop off and play well. With that said, I think there's a massive bot gap. Danny is... I would take Danny over both Sven and Vulcan right now. I know it's stupid, but if we're trading in like fantasy league, I would do that trade right now. Danny is just so nuts. And I think that top lane, Fudge, honestly, probably is gonna get neutralized a little bit by Impact. I think Impact had trouble against just a GP blind pick over and over again because he doesn't really have that pick. Like any picks that go well into that, but I don't know if I don't think Fudge is gonna blind pick GP like 3 times because it's hard to like you can do a lot of damage on GP, but you can't carry like mid early game skirmishes, right? Like something like like when Viego on closer is carrying all these early mid game skirmishes and allowing the GP to scale into late game to do big damage, like that's great, but like if Fudge needs to be that rock hard carry, like you need to have early game influence. If you just play GP all the time, I feel like EG is happy. I feel like EG is probably down with Fudge playing GP all the time. So also I don't know what's gonna happen with the jungle situation, but I think Blabber is probably a bit better, and I think Jizuke and Perks are both like so coin flippy, man. I don't even know. I think Jizuke this split has been better, but like they're both so hard to judge.
Yeah, they're pretty janky.
So I'm gonna go EG favored. Are we making predictions right now?
Yeah,
I guess I should right?
We're not gonna do. Let's not do player of the series because LCS is funny. Sometimes they post it, sometimes they don't. So we'll just do. They did it for Liquid, Team Liquid, but I don't know about the other stuff. So.
Let's just say it anyways.
Okay.
Just for conversation topics, but we don't have to count it or anything.
Okay,
I like just saying it.
Yeah.
I'm going EG.
Okay.
And we haven't had a single 3-2 yet, but for some reason I do think Oh, we did have one 3-2. I'm stupid. Okay. I think it's going to be 3-2 EG.
Okay.
And I think the player of the series is going to be Danny. I think he's going to pop off.
He's up
I
against
think again.
Okay.
And I think that the name of the game once again is going to be big time roams, just like every other LCS game is. Just bot lane support.
Honestly, I love
okay,
it. I love
it's
it.
fun, right?
Yeah,
It's
fun.
honestly, if you're on the top side of the map and you're getting support gapped, it is the most terrible feeling in the world to get support gapped.
Yep.
Like Alfari in his interview, in his post game interview, do you know what he said? Instead of the top jungle duo, he said top support duo. He's like, yeah, me and Corey J are just gonna take over the map. It's like normally you would hear top jungle are gonna take over the map, right?
Yeah.
Jungle camp's top. Jungle no, it's top support. The support is across the map.
And to go with that, Tactical said in an interview that Core just says, okay, he says goodbye, and Core and Tactical will just be like, yeah, okay, I'll see you next game. Because he knows, like, he's a lot of times just going to be left there, and Core's never coming back. So it's within that, their structured game plan that Core is going to leave Tactical. Like, it's just going to happen. Yeah. So
it's just the right move, too, right? Like, if you're going up to a lane and you're like, who do I want to deny farm to? Well, half the ADCs, right, that are being played are utility ADCs, and every top laner is broken as hell with gold.
Yeah.
If I would rather have, I would trade my Jhin having 3 CS and their Wukong having 3 CS. That is a worth trade for me. And honestly, TSM didn't even punish the Jhin that hard, who's just by himself bot lane. So.
Okay, and who's your MVP? Oh, you said Danny.
Danny. Okay. Yeah. Danny.
All right. Well,
Danny.
Kevin, what do you got?
I'm less of the Pandasina will make it close. I think that they've just been uninspired. I think that for some reason or another, like they just don't have it in them right now. And I mean, yeah, if they show up, they might all like fire on all cylinders because they have the talent there. It's like the Liquid situation. You saw that roster, and you're just like, how could that not be winning games and just like looking scary, right? But I still think that EG got better practice just through the games that they've played so far. I think that they have a lot more data on what works and doesn't work. While like, we beat Golden Guardians, congrats, and we got stopped by Liquid. Like they collected almost no useful data between those two series. I feel like, so I think it's gonna be 3-1, or I was gonna vote 3-0, but like, I mean, it's a Jizuke team. It's not gonna ever be 3-0. I think I will give them credit. Like, if your body of work over the split plus playoffs was a good, like, on this level, like, you're coin flipping, but your average is still decent enough. Like, it's not the worst. He was much worse before. Let's just say it that way. So I think he's like, I think I'm a big fan of giving free reign. I think that EG has more pieces together, and they just need to make sure Danny can carry. If for some reason he becomes a Ziggs god in the next week, sure. But like Tactical can play both. I haven't seen Danny be able to play both. Like his Ziggs was not inspiring, but it's just because like the team collapsed, and like they need him to be on something that's like a little more in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Sure. Just a 1v9 machine, man. Just put him
like,
on the 1v9 champion. That's Tristana right there.
The biggest sin is right after one of the biggest outplays of your life. You're like, this man is feeling adrenaline in his blood.
They put
He's
him
like
on
ready
Ziggs,
to kill,
yeah.
and they just toss him on Ziggs and still keep Jizuke on Lucian, despite the average at best Lucian game before that. Like,
it was a really bad Lucian game.
What is that? It's 100% because the guy is young and he's like the junior of everyone there. And he's like, he just probably respects everyone too much to like speak up. Because like if it were Double, he's like, no, heck no. Or Uzi would be like, he wouldn't even have the conversation like, I'm playing Tristana next game.
Yeah, 100%. Like, God, that is disgusting. Like, I hope coaching staff learned and they take the feedback from the community that everybody's shouting the sentiment. You should have put him on Tristana again, or something. Like can
when something is going good, you probably want to stick to that. Especially that's what saved
Ziggs,
you.
I'm like, great. Now they can roam and do like their like game plan. Like EG,
you know what? Because you have Alfari, right? You have Alfari. You can actually have a top lane, but then your top lane is playing Scion.
Oh gosh!
Like no one's gonna be scared of your Scion like early game pressuring your GP. Like it's not happening, right?
Oh my god, dude, I'm a 7-0 Scion, full tank baby.
Kevin, who's your MVP or player of the series?
Oh yeah, my MVP for the series, I was also gonna put Danny. I just think that like after you see that, like if they don't invest in him at least in like 3 out of 4 games, I think they're just trolling. Like you can mix it up, that's fine, but don't mix it up game 5 after the guy's like on the high of his life. I think that more importantly, the difference is there. Because I think down the line, there's like a lot of like, yeah, this is pretty close. It can be pretty close, right? And then I just look down at like Zen's performance in playoffs versus this. I'm just not impressed by Zen. I don't think he's been terrible. I think he's been fine, but I think Danny's just going to look better, and the gap will be there.
I don't think Sven's been even close to a top 5 ADC this year.
Well, let me give my prediction. I think I was going through EG is basically 3-0 against C9 this split, and with the momentum C9's been going, again, barring like some miracle like Perks playoff buff that just happened to turn on, I think this is definitely EG, and I think it is going to be, like Kevin said, a little more one-sided. I'm going 3-1, and Danny, because I think he has the biggest gap. Like, I think, mid lane Perks, could be fire. Blabber could, be good. Fudge, same thing. Vulcan. But I think in the ADC role specifically, I think Danny definitely has the edge. So I think that's going to be the player of the series. So let's move on to TSM Immortals.
Real quick before we move on, though, I was going to say, when we saw Santorin walk into the Liquid, you saw a noticeable change. When you saw Sven sub in for King, like,
Nothing changed.
You saw Danny sub in for Deathly. Noticeable change, right?
Change.
They just shot up.
Yeah.
Good point.
I think that's a good litmus test for a good player.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, I like that.
You do want to see, I would even venture to say that it would be nice to see a drastic change even the other way, because then right away it's not going to work, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes the worst thing is that they're kind of the same and nothing's really changed, because then you're like, all right, so what was the problem then? It didn't seem like that was it.
The worst thing is apathy or just lack of
anything. Just like
mediocrity.
Nothing happens. Like, I would like to see just really bad, really good right after the move, and then evaluate and move on.
Some anime stuff right there.
Exactly. Let's go to TSM Immortals. I'll just go ahead and start this because, you guys already know. I'm voting TSM. I do actually think they're better than Immortals. I think it's going to be a 3-1. But I wouldn't be surprised at a 3-2. I'm going to say 3-1 though, and Spica's my player of the series. So
that is like exactly what I'm going to do too. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go TSM. I think that Immortals might honestly get an early game advantage every single game, and TSM will just manage to stay in there, get gold, have a better mid laner. I think that Immortals mid laner Insanity is pretty good, but he's no Jensen, right? I think PoE will not be pressured. He'll be fine. He'll be chilling.
Yeah.
He will scale, and he will carry every mid and late game fight. I think that the macro from TSM is honestly pretty darn good. It's just that they're just mechanics and like early game, just like they're just passive in the early game, right? Like, if Immortals doesn't like snowball to a crazy ridiculous lead and be like lightning speed at closing things out like Team Liquid is, I mean, you could get up 5k against TSM. I think they'll pick a better scaling comp and they'll beat you. It's unfortunate that that's how it's going to go down, and it's kind of like predictable and boring or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think TSM's gonna take it. And honestly, I think I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna go PoE actually. I think PoE is gonna be the MVP of the series. I think he's gonna basically just get to scale for free every game.
Okay, good call.
You took mine. I was gonna go PoE too, because I think that Xerxes versus Pika is gonna be close enough that it won't be easy to style. But like, I think that while Insanity is not bad at all, I think that PoE will just get a lot more free reign to play like whatever he wants to play and scale, and like be a Syndra player, be a Azir player that actually could do something. Like there's just all of that available to him. I also think it's gonna be TSM. I think it's gonna be a 3-1. It's unfortunate. I think it's good news that more like some NA orgs can take like what on paper is not an expensive roster. It looks like, and like get this far, because this is where Dignitas was supposed to be.
They were probably like the best of the kind of rising stars teams,
Yeah, the budget teams.
The budget teams, the ones that actually we saw some development. I'm happy. Yeah. I'm happy that where they're at. I don't think they're there yet, but great job to them compared to all the other teams, like even CLG.
They're like the Schalke or whatever of our league. They're just they had a good run. It's very impressive. They shouldn't win this. If they do win this, I think that's cool. But I don't expect it, right? If it happens, it happens. TSM has lost to Golden Guardians and Clutch, and Like,
Yes,
I think it's
have.
mostly the clutch org, but
Yeah.
Clutch.
yeah, but there's not. I don't think there's enough. I don't think there are any of the players from that org on this team. So
No, there's not.
there's not. So
I mean,
unfortunate.
if there was Hakuho in, you know
Oh
what's up,
gosh.
baby.
Yeah, I don't know where that guy
Give him
went.
the
He was still
thrush.
very good in
I
it.
don't want to relive those moments.
Haku, yes.
Some of the funniest times to be a not TSM fan.
Well, see, the thing is, Ven isn't on TSM right now
That's
anymore, so
true.
it's okay. He's in the clear. He's
in
all
the
good.
clear.
Yeah,
It's
he they brought it
C9.
to C9. Yeah,
Ah.
so
Okay,
yeah, good. Congrats to TSM. They're probably gonna play against EG.
they're
Yeah.
probably gonna get to play against EG. So we all just predicted
Yeah.
that EG is gonna beat C9, right?
Yeah.
So
well,
that means
before we go there, because that is going to be Sunday's matchup. So let's
Right.
go by
Okay,
the day.
okay.
So we're at Saturday now. So the 100 Thieves versus TL. Let's predict this one, and then the eventual match on Sunday will be TSM
Yeah, that's
versus
how they're gonna
EG.
order it.
Yeah. So who's going to be 100 Thieves TL? I mean,
I'm going TL.
yeah, same here.
I
But
think it's just so obvious to everybody. I don't know. Maybe it's not, but
I mean, I
don't
know
know. It seems really obvious.
Kevin would vote TL. I think either way, but I think he's actually would be right here. So
Yeah.
I have been right for quite a few matches now.
Mhm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I said it was gonna be a stop against TSM. Although I did say 3-0, which it
Yeah.
kind of looked like it was good. Like you guys were all thinking it after game 2. Like yeah, it's
Oh,
about
yeah,
to
yeah.
be a 3-0.
They
yeah,
honestly, Team Liquid inted the crap out of draft on game
They
3.
did.
Like their
They
draft
did
was
into a lot
terrible.
of drafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was there? They had Ash, right? Like that
Yeah.
was just so whack.
I don't know what that was, man.
Yeah. They picked Ash, Oriana, Gnar. That was just such a weird draft. They tried to play super hard early game with Ash, Oriana, Gnar. It's just like you guys don't really have the tools to do that
Yeah.
compared to a Syndra or
They were
LeBlanc.
just trying to style. It felt like I was like, what are you guys doing, man?
They're like, we're gonna play a scaling comp and still outplay you in the early game. Yeah, let's style it.
it was embarrassing.
Well,
Yeah.
I
It's
have
really liquid that
I
game,
have
but-
them 3-1 with Alfari being series MVP. What you
Okay.
got, Mitchell?
I have 3-1 as well because
Okay.
every Team Liquid series has apparently been 3-1.
Yeah.
Against 100 Thieves. Oh man, I think I'm gonna give it to Core JJ. I feel like it's
That's
just
who I had
it's-
first. Yeah.
It's his time. I think it's his time. I think that honestly, Core JJ is just he would have gotten it if Santorin and Jensen didn't pop off so much. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mhm.
And I think that I mean Closer he didn't have like a great series, but he's very clearly like the star of 100 Thieves.
Mhm.
And I think he's gonna get going in a couple of these games. Like Closer will do that.
Would you say Closer or FBI?
I mean, in the last series, it was Closer, in my opinion.
Sure, definitely. I
In
agree.
this
Yeah.
meta, AD
with
carries
that.
just haven't like had that many chances. Besides standing in one play at late games,
Yeah.
like 6 items or 5 items at the time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Fair
just
enough.
hard, right?
Yeah.
Like they could be the best player in the league by
I-
far, but they won't
yeah.
necessarily be MVP of the series.
I honestly think like jungle and support are like this neck and neck as being the two best roles in the game right now.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
just this
Yeah.
close. So I think it's gonna be Core JJ. It's gonna
Okay.
be 3-1. I think that 100 Thieves is honestly going to get outplayed. They could win a lot of early games too, right? Like I feel like really 100 Thieves and Team Liquid they could really go back and forth in the early games.
Mhm.
First blood to one team, answered on the other
I think
side.
it'll be
They
exciting.
trade
Yeah.
Dragon for Rift. They're trading towers. They're one person misplays. Okay, lead goes over here. And then you get to the mid and late game, and it's just gonna be super Team Liquid favored.
Yeah.
Like the mid and late is just gonna be so Liquid favored. It's not even close. The only thing I'm scared of is the draft, really, for Team Liquid. I feel like
Mhm.
their drafts have been really sus. So we'll see. Just see how that goes. So yeah.
Okay. All right. What about you,
I'll
Kevin?
do
What are
you-
you
do
going
one
with?
better. I think Liquid's gonna win, obviously, but they're gonna win the first 2 games in resounding fashion. There's gonna be some shaky early games, but they're playing like as you get like everyone's experienced this. Like if you've ever played against a guy who's like way higher elo than you
Uh-huh.
in the early game, like sometimes you just randomly win. Like sometimes they
Yeah.
just they take a turret shot, you win, or you get a huge lead, right? But like as your items stabilize, as your gold gets bigger, and your skills will show. And I think Liquid just pound for pound is like disgustingly on point right now. So like they're gonna win 2 games. Probably gonna be kind of like either a chokeout kind of win where it's like a 45-minute win, but like there was never a chance for the other team, like that 6-0 game, or it's gonna be a quick like sub 30-minute game, which Liquid has done a scary amount of those in playoffs so far. Game 3 they're gonna end draft. Like, Actually, sorry. Game 1 and 3 they're gonna end draft, but 3 they're gonna like lose hard, and then game 4 they're gonna win again.
So
I know this
3-1.
sounds familiar, but like that's I was like
So
the least
3-1.
scared I've ever been after losing a game for Liquid after game 3 against.
Kevin
TSM.
just came
like,
up with the most elaborate way to say 3-1.
No, it's the most accurate way to say 3-1 because
Okay.
exactly what happened. Like C9 versus TSM or C9 and TSM versus Liquid literally was just the same script twice.
The exact
I was like,
same
y'all got
script.
lazy.
To be fair, I did the same thing last week when I was predicting TSM over Team Liquid. I gave you the scenarios that was going to happen, and so I get it.
Scenario, but predicting TSM is just always a stretch, though. So like your scenario.
I had to make up a whole narrative in my mind to convince myself.
But I will say that the MVP is Portugal. Like I think he's got enough scrim bucks or whatever, like not scrim bucks, player of the game bucks saved up, like.
Where they need to pick him eventually, because
we were supposed to give it to We were supposed to give it to him last year because he was just his Bard was sublime. Yeah. That was crazy. He baited the other team to thinking Bard was good, and then
Sword Art.
He should have got it. But Santori getting it, I don't have any problem with. I just think that he's just gonna gap. I think Huki's been less good in the Rome meta where everyone needs to show up top lane. I think Huki's been less good, relatively speaking. It's not the like fight 2v2 bot lane, let's get kills meta right now. Maybe they'll make it that, but I just haven't seen it yet.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, so we all agreed, which is perfect because we said that both TSM and EG would win their matchup. So Sunday, we have to predict TSM versus EG. So I will go last because
all right, you will
my
go
team
last.
My team is involved here. So I'll let you go first, Mitchell. What are you going?
This is to determine the last world spot, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah,
because the finals actually quote doesn't matter. It's just for winning the split.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's just for winning. It's just for seeding. So this is for the last world spot. So just want to, before we get into predictions, I'd like to just break down the situation that this is, which is that C9 will not be making worlds
again
if our predictions go correct.
No
again,
no worlds.
No sneaky, no worlds. They win spring split and they don't go to worlds. And the exact
spring mattered, by the way. So it's
and
not even
spring mattered.
Spring mattered this year.
And
spring
Sven
did not matter
still
last
didn't
year.
go.
It's these Ven timelines. Ven has not been to worlds since he has been in NA.
Woo.
TSM did not go to the worlds for the first time when they had Sven. C9 did not go to worlds for the first time when they had Sven.
He's the curse. Oh my gosh, we solved it.
No.
Holy shit.
It is the Sven timeline. Alistair, I miss you, buddy. I wish you were here to talk about it.
He would love this right now.
We talk about it all the time, right? This is not only is this them not making worlds, it's them being 4th place again. If our predictions go how we think it is, they would be like, yeah. I just think it's crazy. Actually, no, they wouldn't be 4th place, right? They would be 5th, I think. It's actually worse than last year because the next match. TSM lost to C9 in the next match, the Sunday match that we're talking about right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So C9 would do even worse than they did last year after spending 11 mil on perks, after winning the split, after going to MSI, after being hyped as the most expensive, best roster NA has ever seen, blah, 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 blah.
I like to see it as a hater of people just buying talent, but I don't like to see it because I actually wanted to see him do well in Worlds so that NA can have some kind of, merit in there. But yeah, I don't know.
Perks is he is a very recent MSI champion and Worlds finalist. Yeah. Incredibly recent. He did those things, and it's like, dude.
It's the Sven curse. I'm telling you. It's either the NA curse or the Sven curse. It's one of them. We'll narrow it down. We'll figure it out. All right. What about you, Kevin?
Wait.
No, Mitchell. You didn't even predict yet.
I didn't even give. I just wanted to crap on.
You just spent all that time really crapping on him. Wow, that was actually a really valid point
too. Necessary in life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. My prediction is honestly it's gonna be EG. I think EG is gonna beat TSM.
I hate you.
I know. I think TSM and EG, they're going to be really close and going to be very coin flippy. I just think that this meta is early game and that EG's macro is not nearly as bad as who's they're playing? Immortals, right? Yeah. I think just EG, they're going to have a great early game like they usually do, and their macro is just going to be significantly better than IMT, and they are going to be able to close it out. I think that once they beat C9, they've gotten a lot of data, as Kevin was saying, is very important. Yeah, Danny's gonna take it home. Danny's gonna
All right.
throw Lost in the dumpster.
What's the game series? 3-2.
Yeah, I'm going 3-2.
3-2.
I think it's gonna
Okay.
be close. I think EG is very fair to go 3-2.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's the team you expect the most go 3-2.
Yeah.
I don't have too much on the C9 stuff that we just mentioned earlier. Yeah, C9 probably won't make Worlds. That's unfortunate. I think EG benefits a lot from having played against everyone that wasn't Liquid because they get close matchups against really good teams, relatively speaking, that will help them figure out what they're doing right and wrong in draft, like just through sheer force of numbers. And then they will have like confidence coming in. They didn't have to get smacked by Liquid on the way down. There's still like, hey, we still have the best AD carry in the league or something like that. There's a lot of stuff to be proud of. So I think that EG should win. I think it's going to be a 3-2 as well. I think that TSM is solid, and if I was trying to be a odds-on person, I would probably vote TSM actually. But I believe in like the intangibles, and I believe in the momentum, and I don't think it's the year for TSM to do it this year. I don't see enough. And honestly, the reality is they probably will, and TSM will probably just make it again, be that team that goes to Worlds, which beats the rest of it, and they just couldn't cut it when it mattered.
Right.
They deserve it if they do, right?
Yeah.
I do think the MVP for EG, if they do win, this one's a little weird. I actually want to put my money on Ignar for that.
Okay.
I'll actually give Sora some credit. I think there was some place where he just died for the team's sake, not because he's an interdog. Like, I think there's times like no one wants to get vision, so he has to do it. He dies, or like that one time he herded his whole team to safety and gave himself up. Like, people who don't know what League is like at on Flex Q or a Clash or whatever level, like just a competitive level together, don't understand. Like, someone's got to do it, or else you'll all die.
Yeah, you'll all die.
He did it so many times.
Go in there.
Sort of is not bad.
Yeah.
That being said, I do think Ignar's still better.
Yeah.
All that being said, because and Ignar might just look better because he has a better ADC. Like, honestly, that means a lot.
That is a big deal. Or the better top laner, right? That is a big deal too.
Well, if I roam and there's no point, what am I doing?
Yeah.
No point. I think Kuni played okay, but the problem is when it mattered, like, we gave him all this money, he missed everything. Like, we didn't get into it. Oh yeah, for this series, we didn't get into it, but Kuni, like, he should get a lot of flame. Like, his Irelia was like up 40 CS and 30 CS in lane.
He was
getting
full builds.
spoon-fed. Yeah, he was full build, and he was missing every key E stun, every ult that should have mattered. Like, you very rarely saw an ult that mattered. Like, people, I saw Reddit threads that were saying that Irelia gets countered by Gnar, and like, and they're like, he's got the range of it. I'm like, have you ever played that matchup? That is one of the oldest counter picks in the game between old Irelia and Irelia. Like, as a former top laner, I'm like, that's triggering because that's what Huni did. Like he got a CS lead, and then he didn't do anything with it. And they're like, yeah, Gnar counters. I'm like, no. Even when he had died, he used his ult, tried to solo kill the Gnar, and it just messed up. And then Gnar got an outplay. It made no sense.
Yeah.
And I don't think Alphari played a perfect series either. So, anyways, point is, EG should win. I'm thinking it's a 3-2. And I think the MVP is Ignar.
I mean, that was you're digging into that. You're digging into.
You probably were too at the time. If you had a drink in you or two, you're just yelling because
let's just
they were trying to carry through Huni, and it did nothing. It did nothing.
So stay away from Huni.
Stay away. All right, look,
Just...
I'm gonna go because this is like TSM EG. Honestly, I want TSM to win. Obviously, that's like not even a given. But looking at it, I do think this is gonna be one of those coin flip games. I think it's gonna be 1-1-1-1, and then who's gonna win that last game? I'm hoping it's TSM's macro that pulls through at the end, and maybe they just scale and make a dumb, risky, but win like an important Baron fight or something like that, and then TSM wins. Honestly, I think that's how it's gonna go. That's what it feels like to me.
At least once.
Yeah. So I again, like, EG is good. I think they were 2-1 against TSM in the summer split, so they have the advantage there. I'm hoping it's TSM, so I'm saying 3-2 TSM, close game, coin flips back and forth, and I'm just gonna go Spica because I think Spica's best players on TSM. So those are my predictions. But is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we wrap up? Because that's all the games that we have for this coming up week. We've covered pretty much the teams. Any final thoughts? Any final words?
Oh, I just want to say that it could be a very exciting Worlds for us. We're gonna have probably no C9. We might not have
I
TSM.
know.
I think that'll be the first time ever that we won't have both one of C9 or TSM.
That
One
is
of them
crazy.
always makes it. One of them always makes it. And Team Liquid has honestly replaced those orgs as being that consistent frontrunner.
That's true.
They've been to Worlds 4 years in a row now.
Yep.
If you count the Doublelift era and the New Age era with Tactical. Yeah, congrats to Team Liquid to just being that steady horse.
Yeah.
And just making it in every year. I'm very disappointed in C9. I think that they should be in the winners bracket right now, right? They should be, honestly, they should have already been confirmed for Worlds.
I have a feeling if next week, if it goes out how we predicted, we'll be spending some time talking about what C9 might need to do for next year, because this would definitely be a failed project, and something needs to happen.
We're almost doing an autopsy on a team that isn't even eliminated yet. So
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's
we'll
close.
See. Yeah,
but that's what the sentiment is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? My final two thoughts. I actually have two things I want to leave. One thing is, all those people were saying that TSM's 5-0 against Liquid in the regular season. All that stuff. Like,
this is where he wants to put this.
Regular season just doesn't matter, especially for veteran players.
Yeah.
It's been seen time and time again. This just play there might be a negative correlation. I doubt it. There probably is a positive, but at least in Liquid's case, they were down against C9 in Spring Split. They did lose though, to be fair. But there's just all these records where it's it doesn't matter. You just in playoffs, the better team will win.
Again, this is because of best ofs too. I think again, it's totally
best
different
ofs are just a better format. But no one wants to watch the worst teams play against apparently. Sure. Although every other sport has that, where you just watch teams play series against each other. They aren't that great, but you just support them.
Low rating games
or whatever.
Yeah.
Unless you're like Barcelona, which is imploding right now. Yeah. But anyways, the other thing I wanted to mention. There was a post on Reddit about Jensen and his record, his lifetime record, and then Bjergsen's lifetime record. You want to know who has the better record in almost every facet except for, I think Jensen. So Jensen's been to Worlds 7 times in a row now. Ever since he joined the LCS, he's been to Worlds. Yeah. Meanwhile, Bjergsen was also, I believe, but 6 times. Wow. Or maybe he missed once.
No, Bjergsen's missed a couple of Worlds. It's just that Bjergsen was there before Jensen. He was there a year before Jensen.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then they were talking about how Jensen has the best record of any NA player internationally.
Yep.
Period. Even if you don't count play-ins, he still has an almost 50%. With play-ins, it's obviously above 50 because you're farming. Mm-hmm. But with all that in mind, he has a better record than Doublelift. He has a better record than.
He has a way better record than Doublelift.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The only record Bjergsen has over is in the head-to-head. Bjergsen has one more best of 5, so 4 versus 3. But in everything else, even in terms of game records, they're very close, or Jensen's ahead. So I just want to give him some credit. I've been bagging on the man for a while, and if he shows up in playoffs like this, he's doing what Perks is doing on a much cheaper salary. I'm just saying we got a good deal. 3 years for, was it 3 million, 2.2 million, or something like that? Yeah. Whatever it was, it's money well spent because he's actually winning games, man. So
it's not 11.
It's not 11, and I'm just saying. I think that Liquid. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that the players that are doing well, should be doing well, are doing well. I will say that they could still blow up next year. By the way, this team had a lot of problems, and winning solves a lot of problems. But if you do bad in the finals or you do bad at Worlds, more importantly, roster could still blow up, but I'm excited for them up until then. Up until then, I'm on the hopium.
Well, this was Kevin's episode today. I'm glad, happy for you. I'll take it because hopefully things will turn around. But until then, good talk.
Wins, even if Liquid wins the finals, but if TSM wins and gets the last out to Worlds, we'll probably end up talking about TSM more.
Yes,
let's be real. So
that's true.
Your ep could come up if your team.
That's true.
Can we get the 0-12 baby? 2 years total. 0-12. 0-12. TSM.
If that happens, I seriously will consider jumping teams.
You said that every year.
We've been doing this podcast for
Do I say this every year?
You said that last year.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know, man. Being a TSM fan is exotic.
I'm either getting old. I'm either getting old, or like I'm a TSM fan for real because I'm like I
Yeah.
don't remember saying that.
We should just play your audio from an older episode, just one of these episodes, to see if the viewers notice.
I really have no recollection of that, but whatever. It's cool. It's gonna happen. TSM's gonna make the comeback, and I'm excited. But yeah, so that's gonna.
I want them to qualify now, just to see that's 0-12.
I want to see the 0-12, baby. Give it to us.
Oh gosh, I don't even want to.
Hey.
I have nothing to say to that. All right, well that's gonna do it. Let me wrap up this episode before we start bashing TSM again. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email us at questions@theallinpodcast.gg. Thank you again to Kevin and Mitchell for joining me tonight. Alistair, we hope you get settled in. Hope you're back next week. But until next time, guys, enjoy your climb on the Rift. Try not to be too toxic, and we'll see you all on the next episode. Peace.